Okay. So we have this D and A and F and K. You know, these are our fat-soluble vitamins. A, D, E, F, K. You know, there's a vitamin J too, but we don't talk about that much. There's a vitamin P, we don't talk about that much. There's a vitamin T. Vitamin T. That's the sesame seed termite vitamin for low platelets. Yeah, vitamin T, they discovered that termites and sesame seeds would raise low platelets. So maybe vitamin T for vitamin termite. Go figure. Okay, so those of you with the sunglasses going around, you notice how it filters the sunlight? Anybody going on the sunglasses going around here?
There's sunglasses here, I don't know where they came
Pass them around. It's their mind. I want people to put them on because I don't want a concept. I want you to have an experience of what D is. D is those sunglasses. D is your sunlight filter. It's not your sunlight vitamin. A is your sunlight sensor vitamin. Retinol. Wait, we'll do questions in a minute. A is your sunlight vitamin. D is your sunglasses. This is from Root Cause Protocol, Morley Robbins' work. It's right there on the Weston Price. Somebody took the Root Cause Protocol vitamin D data and put it on the Weston Price. I have it in my database. So we're looking at trying to get sunlight in our body, right, this time of year. And I'm going to tell you guys a few stories over the next 15, 20 minutes of how people have overcome this. So you could view seasonal affective disorder as sunlight deficiency.
Yeah.
Couldn't you?
Could you restate
I'm sorry,
that?
can you say that again? Just
Pass that back here.
Could you restate it? Like, I'm trying to wrap my mind around that.
Right. So what we want you to do is if I can't feel something, it's worthless to me. So I'm trying to do is drop us out of our heads and having an experience. So the sunglasses are part of that experience of, oh wow, D is actually filtering the light, and the A is the sensor for the light. And I'll tell you about some downstream phenomena of this. We talk about anemia. Well, iron doesn't help anemia. Retinol does, vitamin A does. That's why liver and cod liver oil and egg yolks and grass-fed stuff was always the way to get A in your body. And you get some D with it. So anything that's in the sun is going to have some form of D in it. So seasonal affective disorder then, to me, is a sunlight deficit in our cells. Chi deficit. The sunlight chi is deficient in our bodies. Does that help you a little bit?
Yeah.
So when we talk about depression then, there's actually 5 to 10 forms of depression in my practice because Chinese medicine has 5 elements. So there's a wood element depression, a water element depression, an earth element depression, a metal, so there's all these different types of depression. So that's when someone comes to see me, it's like, what kind of depression are we looking at? Who's the human being? And here's a statement you want to walk away with. We don't treat diseases, we treat people. We don't treat diseases, we treat people. Because medicine studies death. They study dead cadavers, dead science, dead chemicals. They are!
Yep.
I'm not, this is the truth.
It's true.
So, don't you want to study life?
Yes.
So I spent the last 35 years looking at who's getting results and why. Who's getting results in cancer? Who's getting results with depression? Who's getting results? I don't give a crap how, but let's figure out why. Most of the good formulators, like Edgar Cayce, they were channeling the divine. They used to call it divine providence. Someone asked Royal Lee, the founder of Center Process, how'd you make that vitamin E formula where the first ingredient is cow testicle extract? In a vitamin E formula? Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. How do cow testicles relate to vitamin E? So he would say, it was divine providence. Then he would work backwards into the science to figure out why the channel came in. I really have a problem with muscle testing. That's why I don't muscle test much. I have the skills to it, but you can't double blind it. You can't repeat it result. So I tell people, if you get a muscle testing result and your practitioner can't go backwards and tell you why they got the result, don't use them again. If you can't talk the science of what you're doing there, get out of here. Go away. Quack. $100. These products will be here $300 later. 15 minutes, you're out the door, and they can't even explain why they got the result. I'm going to run from that person. If I'm dying of cancer, I want to know why you got that result and why I'm paying $300 on your little wet week kind of shit. I believe in kinesiology, but not to that degree. So, A then is a vitamin that, if you read Morley Robbins' work, Root Cause Protocol, that was the vitamin that cured the blood disorders. And iron is easier to get into our body than out. So the main enzyme of how our mitochondria digest iron is not easily available. It's called ferroxidase. Spell that later. Ferroxidase, and it's a hard lab to get, but that's your iron metabolism iron. They give you serum iron, and if you're lucky, you'll get ferritin, which is your stored iron. But even those two aren't enough. The Root Cause Protocol full iron panel involves retinol, ceruloplasmin, which is a copper enzyme, serum copper. I mean, it's very comprehensive. $300 out of pocket. So, because iron is what causes rust at the ultimate downstream at the cellular level where energy is made. That's how we rust. Oxidation starts there. So cholesterol is a downstream phenomena to the cell. So when you have oxidative stress, the body makes cholesterol as a sponge to sponge up the oxygen. That's why cholesterol is made. It's an antioxidant. It's a backup antioxidant. And when we're exposed to radiation and things like that, then the body puts more cholesterol in the cell because a sterol is a wax. And it's more tight than a liquid fat, which makes your cell membranes more fluid.
Sterol is a fat.
Liquid fat makes the cell membranes more fluid, like polyunsaturated fats. Saturated fats over into sterols, tightens up the cell membrane so things don't get in and out as easy.
So it's more protected.
There's a downside to it, because if you get too closed,
Right.
then your cells can't poop, and they can't take nutrients in. You got a lot of cells pooping in that body of yours.
3 trillion.
And they have to eat and poop. So it's managed kind of perfectly, right? So the body says, I need more So the cell membranes need fat, protein, and cholesterol. That's your main cell membrane. And the membrane of the cell is the brain of the cell, not the nucleus.
So, if I'm picking up something about what you're saying, then a lot of this is caused by food stress, not necessarily too much calories.
Yeah.
It's
I could-
literally that we're stressing our metabolism out with the food, or whatever we're ingesting.
Okay, remember, let's do questions during time periods.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, because I'm already
Sorry.
digressing. But to your point, I mean, this is why I could sit here. I go here till midnight. I mean, I would just not stop because I have all these stories. But we have to have a healthy nervous system to process food. Why?
It's got to choose what's good and what's bad, right?
Parasympathetic, sympathetic. That's the teeter-totter.
Oh, right. Maybe not even have one.
So what's sympathetic? Fight or flight. You digesting in fight or flight? No. So digestive secretions dry up when we're in fight or flight. We call it sympathetic nerve dominance. There are no digestive secretions because we're trying to run from the saber-toothed tiger. That doesn't exist in our world, of course. So the body is not concerned with digestion in fight or flight. And where are most Americans running? Dominant fight or flight syndrome. And then food is stress at that point because you're not digesting it and then it's rotting. And rot is the main problem with Americans. I heard Dr. Natasha at a Weston Price conference, the one that was here, was that a decade ago? The one that was here?
In Anaheim?
No, there was one here.
Santa Clara.
In Santa Clara. It was like a decade ago?
Right, yeah, that was a while ago.
It's about.
Yeah, about a decade.
Yeah, because it was before I lived here.
I had to see her. So this person's like, what about salmonella? And Dr. Natasha looks at her and goes, why are you blaming a bugs for your own rot? And I went, she just shut her down, you know. You're not going to play victim with me, you know. And I went, right on, Dr. Natasha. So you don't blame the bugs for your own overeating and rot. You don't blame the bugs for your broken choice maker. So when digestion goes down, then the liver goes down. No, digestion, portal vein, liver. Then if the liver goes down, the kidneys go down. The kidneys go down, the lungs go down. The lung goes down, the circulation goes down. Then the muscles go down, and then the nervous system, and then the brain. And that's called the toxic stress cycle. That's Jack Tipps's work, by the way, my sclerology teacher. I love the model. So most of us have gone around the wheel, and our endocrine and nervous systems are disharmonized. And in Chinese medicine, I love the word constraint. You're constrained by your disharmony. So, this is where the sunlight part comes in for today's talk. So, generally when we're chilling out, we might be in the sun, and we go into parasympathetic dominance, and that's rest and repair and digestion. So what I do is, if you have an appetite that never goes away, like you're always hungry. Anybody got that? Where's that? You got an appetite that never goes away? You always hungry? Okay. So that's parasympathetic dominance. When you're tired and want to eat a lot. So we spend so much time in sympathetic dominance, our brain goes, I need some time over there. And then that's why some of us are tired, because we've been too long in fight or flight without really checking in, and then we have a collapse. I'm on about 36 hours of just going right now. And I know tonight's going to be like, go do some yoga. Oh, chill the hell out, dude. What haven't I talked about? Oh, so where does Weston Price factor X, the Wilson factor, come in with all this?
Activator X?
Weston, the factor X,
Hey.
Is A?
A.
A? K? F? What is it?
Someone between
What is it?
K2.
It's all of them.
It's an emu oil.
I love that stuff. So the Wilson factor is what they used to call it, and then Price called it factor X. Same thing.
Activator X.
Activator X. I guess the high vitamin butter oil has it. And blah blah blah. So there's a couple of things going on. You got to get the nutrients into the blood. Then you got to unpack it into the tissues. You got to have your sensor to know what's going on, and then you got a supervisor, which I call it K. The supervisor and distributor. And this is why you need to chew your food. That's the other takeaway. A few of you have heard this. So, if you're not chewing each bite 30 to 50 times, especially carbohydrates like grain, you're not digesting your food. There are no teeth down there. So the saliva, turns out, has markers for the body to know where to put the food. So if you don't chew enough, you got no markers to tell your body where to put the food, and then there's more rot and problems. Because there's no supervisor. Saying, put it over there.
That's the thing about smoothie.
Remember questions?
Blended.
Remember questions? We'll get you guys some.
No questions.
We'll get you. Take
Did you
questions
turn
in a
your-
minute. We'll take questions in about 3 minutes, a quarter to.
Did you turn your camera
So
back
I
on?
don't know. Yeah, I don't know that we could say that any one of them is wolves, and it's like some few of you said it's all of it, and I would agree with that more. It's hard to conceptualize. Like, is there a chemical that's factor X? I don't think it's just a chemical, right? It's a process of saying these nutrients need to go here where they belong and not over here. Like, if you're putting calcium in your muscles, you're screwed.
Well, it wasn't clear. They think that K2 is activator X, but it's never defined.
Right. Oh, and there's another thing with K that I just love. People take K. You don't ever need to take K. If you're eating grass-fed animal fat and greens, you're getting K1 and K2.